The NFT market is pumping. We are seeing some of the highest volume in months, but is it going to last, or is this just a little trap before we go back into Goblin Town? We're going to be discussing that today. As we get going, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, head to FLOLiO.com for your NFT portfolio management needs. Nothing we say today is financial advice. We are giving our opinions on the state of the market, giving our takes here, but we do not recommend buys and sells. We just kind of give you the unbiased information. Kevin, it's been a solid week in the market. We had the Blur token claim. Everyone keeps calling it an airdrop. You had to go claim it. It wasn't an airdrop. We had the Blur token claim on Tuesday. We've seen the price of that fluctuate, hanging out right underneath $1 at this point. It led to over $200 million in liquidity in the market. So there was a ton of volume. We've seen a lot take place on Blur. As soon as they released the token, they also announced that season 2 for the airdrop was beginning. You would get double points for all of your bids and listings on Blur between now and March 14th. That has led to not only a ton of activity on Blur, but people making some catastrophic mistakes. One person I saw meant to put a bid up on Blur, a collection bid of around like 2.8, 2.9 ETH. Well, they ended up putting up a bid of 5.8 or 5.9, and in the process had 69 of those bids accepted. Nice. And ended up losing like 208 ETH in the process. Just an absolute disaster of a move. So I will say, if you are farming this Blur airdrop, be very, very, very cautious, because I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked here. We've seen every person who was successful in farming the previous airdrop has put out a thread about what they did, and now we're seeing just droves come in and trying to emulate that. And in my opinion, I'm looking to zig when others are zagging. At first, I considered getting more involved on Blur to try to farm this airdrop, but now I'm just thinking that if everyone else is doing that too, the value of it, like the expected value, has to be going down. The EV was the highest, for the last few months when there weren't as many people are doing it. Now that everyone is coming in and giving it a shot, the expected value can't be as high. So I think it's a good opportunity. If you want to be involved in Blur, transact on there, that's fine. But I wouldn't be going out of your way to make a bunch of listings or a bunch of bids near the floor, because you could end up buying assets that you don't really want just because they're getting scooped.
Yeah, it almost seems like kind of like frantic, like panic mode for people just trying to scoop up as much money as possible, which necessarily isn't a great signal that this is something that's everyone's gonna do pretty well, and obviously mistakes are being made, like you said. And to me, I mean, I'm not gonna to bring in crypto. I remember in 2022, 2021, 2022, 2021, it was like the May, right around May, when everything was pumping a ton. Everyone was freaking out buying into everything. Kind of seems very similar right here. And then, a week later, we're down from 50K down to 30K. So just in perspective, what it seems like a bunch of people are trying to get in maybe a little bit too late, and that could potentially be pretty catastrophic. Pretty, I can't speak today. I can't speak.
Pretty catastrophic.
Thank you, sir. It's that's what I expect it to be. Just again, based off hearing how many mistakes are being made, and then just the price shot up from 60 cents up to like around $1, and that was within a day. And again, stuff like that happens, but necessarily that doesn't mean that it's going to stay there for a long period of time.
Yeah, it hit $1.20. Like I said, it's back under $1, and right now there's really no use case for it, and I don't know if or when there will be. And season 2 just means more supply is going to be put out into the market. So I don't think I wouldn't be buying Blur here. I can't tell you whether or not you should sell if you do have some, but yeah, I don't see what is going to really propel the value up. And as we talked about on our crypto show, you and I are both bearish on the crypto market in the months ahead. And from that standpoint, I don't see what is going to drive Blur's value up in that time. So we've also seen, initially a lot of floors went up on projects as soon as the Blur drop came out. People swapped their Blur to ETH. They were buying in on some of these, mid-cap projects, if you will. So we had things like CloneX, Moonbirds, Doodles, Azuki Beans. All of these things took a nice little run up in floor price, and they've now pulled back as people are getting into the farming game again. So I think that's going to continue to be the story for a little while. I think it has calmed a bit, But just something to keep in mind is if you're shopping on OpenSea, just know that like the actual floor price is over on Blur, where there aren't royalties. You don't necessarily have to pay royalties, and that actually has led into a bit of a marketplace war between Blur and OpenSea. Blur saying that they don't enforce creator royalties, which is a highly contested subject, something I personally don't agree with. They have also stated that if you're an NFT project and you choose to no longer allow your project to be listed on OpenSea, they will enforce royalties on their platform. So they are like taking the fight directly to OpenSea. I'm personally not a fan of this. I think it's childish. I think it's immature, but they're trying to push their edge right now. OpenSea has had this monopoly for years at this point, and there's finally someone who's coming in and pushing back and giving them a run for their money. So it's an interesting strategy. I don't know what OpenSea is going to do to compete. Everyone keeps saying that like, oh, they need to drop a token. I don't think it's quite that easy, especially because I don't know where Blur is based out of, but I know that OpenSea is based out of the United States. And at this point, we've seen dropping a token is a really good way to get in the SEC's crosshairs. So I do not imagine that OpenSea will drop a token anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree. That would just be, it wouldn't be smart of them on their end. Again, do they necessarily need to drop a token? No, not at all. Their OpenSea is still pretty strong. There's only two main super NFT marketplaces for secondary. Let's just see how it plays out. Again, we're in a bear market. If they're going to do it, be smart about it. Probably be in a bull market where they would probably maximize most profitability from that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're never going to release one, but until there is regulatory, clarity around this, I don't see it happening. One token drop that is taking place, so we found out about recently, is Collabland. So if you've been involved in NFTs or you've been on Discord and you've had to verify your assets to join a Discord, you've probably used Collabland. Well, they are doing an actual token airdrop. It's not going to be a claim. I think it is going to be dropped into people's wallets next Thursday, the 23rd. It is a governance token. We're not exactly sure what it's going to govern, but there have been millions of accounts that have used Collabland, and all of them, to some extent, will be eligible for this airdrop. A snapshot was already taken. I have no idea how much token is going to be dropped. If it's going to be based off of how frequently you use Collabland, how many Discords you're in, no clue. But it is another airdrop taking place, which means more liquidity out there. Drops like this in the past, if it's available for US people, which I'm still not sure it's going to be, but if it is, my strategy will be to get it and probably sell it almost immediately, because we've seen with these governance token airdrops for stuff that Collabland's cool and all, but I'm not going to go out of my way to be a part of the governance of it. Sorry. So I'll look to get it as soon as possible and probably flip it into USDC or ETH and just move on from there. I know that's not what Collabland probably wants to have happen, but it's just the reality of the situation and what people in this market are going to do.
Yeah, definitely. You drop a ton of liquidity, like you said, into a market that's sure there might be a lot of money on the side, but at the end of the day, people are still going to take profits. Smart people are going to take profits if they don't think that it's going to have any long-term use, or they're just not interested, like you said, about governance for the Collabland. So I think they're just giving people pretty much free money to go play with. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people do that and the price just shoots down.
For sure. Let's look at some of the top gainers over the last week. We're going to head over to FLOLiO.com for that. But as we've seen here, it has been a flight to quality. Everyone on this list right here, with the exception of Checks, who, if you want to say that it's a high quality project, you can, hasn't been out very long. I'm not willing to call it that quite yet, but everything else on here has been around for a year plus, has seen quite a bit of volume over the last week. Other Deeds absolutely crushing it with 22,000 ETH in volume trade over the last 7 days. Floor went back to 2.1 ETH, retraced a bit to 1.98, but we've seen Mutant Apes take a big run up. Bored Apes, Azuki, Beans, Doodles. Like I said, a lot of these mid caps have seen a nice little pump over the last week, thanks in large part to Blur. And in my personal strategy right now is to focus as much as I can on some of these higher quality projects, because these are all risk assets. nothing is a safe bet here, even Yuga and Bored Ape. There's execution risk across the board. But I think at this point, finding the teams who you believe have the best vision and the best ability to execute and the longest runway to make it through a bear market is where I want to be putting most of my bets at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we're about a little bit over a year into this bear market, and a lot of these projects are still standing. We see obviously volume picking up recently, so the projects that are going to be surviving, that made it this far through, obviously were probably your better bets. I'm not, again, I can't tell you what to buy or sell, but there's been projects as we've seen throughout the entire bear market where it'll just shoot up. Like for example, Goblin Town shot up like crazy, and then now it's nowhere necessarily to be found. So there's definitely gonna be projects that pop up like that, but again, like you said, the top ones in that list, they seem pretty strong. It doesn't mean that they can't go down in value still. It might be better opportunities ahead, but for the most part, they're still standing.
Yeah, Goblin Town is definitely one that, it approached 10 ETH. I think it's down to like 0.6 right now. I mean, talk about a huge retrace, but it's risky out there, and there's a lot of hot potato going on. And I'm not really, and I don't want to play that game at
No.
this point as we continue a bear market and head into what I believe is going to be a worse bear market moving forward. I don't want to have any money invested in projects that I don't, or businesses that aren't building something long term. My biggest bets right now are Yuga. It is 10KTF, who is now owned by Yuga. It is Renga, who is associated with 10KTF. It is Bored and Dangerous by Jenkins Valet, which is also moderately tied to Yuga, not owned by Yuga, but it's Ape IP. So I'm just narrowing my focus. I'm not trying to hold on to a whole bunch of stuff right now because I think that we are going to see more panic ahead, and I think there's going to be opportunities to scoop things up for lower prices. I'm not telling you to sell your bags right now. That is just my take on the situation.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
as we go ahead.
I was just gonna say NFTs have never been in a recession. I don't think people are gonna be really
No.
excited to be holding some JPEGs when they're trying to buy food or trying to find another job and they got to cut back and get ramen noodles. You know what I mean? So, well, it'll be interesting, but definitely, I completely agree.
So on the Bored Ape front, we did have some news on Wednesday. We're continuing to see, Yuga said late last year, that they were going to begin communicating more, and they've done that. Like they've lived up to that expectation, to what they've stated. And so we found out Wednesday the next progression of sewer passes happened. The scores have locked. So if you go on to OpenSea, or if you go on to Blur, you can see the rank of each ticket now, directly on the physical ticket. They changed the metadata. We've seen that Professional Gamer Mongrel had the highest score, so he has the key. This guy absolutely destroyed everyone. He has 14 sewer passes. Every single one of them is in the top 56. So he has 25% of the top 56 scores. He also, even more impressively, has 5 of the top 10 scores. Like, this guy absolutely wiped the floor with every single one of us. I never thought that I had the chance to win. I thought that maybe I could get in the top, 5%. Nope, didn't do that. This game was dominated by high level gamers. And so I want to get your thoughts on it, Kevin. Do you think that's a positive or a negative, both in the short term and the long term?
Uh, I mean, it's a positive, I think, in the long term, more so just because if gamers who are like him, Mongrel, just joining some of these NFT games, they're dominating them. It's no different than like esports in a way, where maybe that just brings more. I would say more. It would push maybe NFT gaming a little bit further ahead than where a lot of gaming right now in Web 2 is. Again, like we've said before, Web 2 gaming, a lot of people in the industry cannot stand NFTs. They completely are against the entire, transaction process, using the NFTs for gaming. Again, I to each their own, but I think this is a pretty good gateway for a lot of those people who are in professional esports to potentially come into NFTs. That could bring a lot of liquidity too for a lot of holders of these assets. a lot of opportunities. The only thing I would say that kind of stinks is if you were just some random dude who's been in Yuga for a while and you got a couple of sewer passes and you thought you had a chance of playing and getting pretty high. Well, obviously there's people who are professionals that are going to destroy you. But again, it's that's like the worst thing I think I can see from it. But I do think that, you know, long term thinking macro, this is a pretty good push for gaming in Web3.
100%. And as someone who is one of those guys, I really don't like it doesn't bother me at all. I think that, once again, I got a claim from Yuga that is worth multiple ETH a piece at this point.
True.
It's more value that they've given to me. I had fun playing the game. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't. Like, it was a good time. I was never gonna win it, but I still enjoyed the experience. And it is going to get eyes on gaming. I believe the numbers I saw, it's been between 800,000 and 1.3 million is what Mongrel has made throughout his career in gaming. And the number one sewer pass, the key, he has listed for $3.7 million. It's not going to sell for that much, but he already has offers on it for 222 ETH, which is 375K. I think it'll go for more than that. So between this and all of his other high ranked sewer passes, I firmly believe that he will make more money from the few weeks because he didn't jump to the Dookie Dash right away. I think he got in the last like 1.5 to 2 weeks, but he'll make more money in that time than he had made in the entirety of his gaming career leading up to that. There is no way that other pro gamers don't see that and view an opportunity in NFTs. And what the worst part was, and I don't blame him for this at all, is that Mongrel didn't stream any of his Dookie Dash playing on his massive platform on Twitch. He didn't put any of the videos on YouTube, which I get it. His audience is not looking for that. Totally respect that decision. I just hope at some point that the games are fun enough and there are enough people playing that they do start to stream them. And maybe it's not even discussed as an NFT game, just as a game in general. Like, can we just toss out the term Web3 game? We just call it gaming, and people see it and realize that, okay, maybe this is a little bit better than we initially thought. And to that end, we did have some big news this week around other, Web3 gaming. First off, Square Enix, we discussed this on our crypto show yesterday. They are launching their game on Polygon. We also had news from Decrypt Media that another upcoming Polygon game called Wildcard is billed as the ultimate video game spectator sport. And I know a few people working on this project. It looks really cool. And I think this could be another opportunity where, because it's built on Polygon and you don't even have to like really be aware that you're transacting on the blockchain, I feel like a game like this or whatever Square Enix is doing, that has a better chance of being the gateway into NFTs than a Bored Ape Yacht Club game that is on Ethereum, where you have to go onto the secondary markets. You have to transact through a MetaMask wallet. I think removing that need is what is absolutely, like, to me, it's a non-starter. It has to happen before we get more people into NFTs from the gaming world.
Yeah, that's a great point. And again, like you said, Ethereum obviously pushing Polygon more into this bull market or to the next cycle. I think that it's going to be a lot easier for adoption for people who aren't necessarily into crypto. It's it's already pretty easy for a lot of people who are just like in the basically like sports NFTs and stuff like that too. So obviously gaming and Polygon's a pretty good combination there. And the fact that Square Enix is going into this, like, it's no small name in the gaming world. There's
No.
it's going to bring a lot of other names in there too. Like, again, I think in the end of the bull market last year we saw Tezos and was it Ubisoft. So again,
Yeah.
they're joining. There's a lot more companies that are coming into it, but definitely this is probably one of the bigger names and bigger partnerships that we're seeing.
For sure. To put a bow on everything Bored Ape and Sewer Pass related, few other pieces of news. Next Wednesday will begin the Toad mode, or the Lick the Toad, as they're calling it, on the MD versus MM website, where you'll be able to go back into the sewer, you'll collect toads, and the top 2,000 scores will receive a little companion to go along with their mech. So already confirmed that mechs are coming down the road. But if you finish in the top 2,000 in this next game, I don't know how long it's going to last yet. They haven't announced that. Your mech will eventually have a little companion. It'll be written into the metadata. It'll show up on your sewer pass. That is beginning next Wednesday. Gargo, one of the founders of Bored Ape Yacht Club, also confirmed that even if you have a sewer pass that did not register a score during the Dookie Dash game, if you participate in this next part, Toad mode, you are going to be able to get some power source, albeit it's going to be the lowest kind possible. But that does add additional value to these sewer passes that didn't register a score. Right now, we see that the lowest price sewer pass is 2.2111 ETH. The lowest one with a registered score is 2.4 ETH. There's a little bit of an ARB opportunity there, in my opinion, because I don't think that the lower scoring ones are going to be that much better of a power source than the ones that at this point have no score on them. What's going on? It's good to have you. So I do think there is an opportunity there if you're looking to deploy some capital into a Yuga asset. These sewer passes with no score on them. If you play the Toad mode game and you're a decent gamer and you can get in the top 2,000 and get one of these little companions for your mechs, I think that could provide an immediate, return in the next 2 weeks of like 1.5 to 2 ETH. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the ones with a companion score are going for like double the floor price of one without a companion score.
Yeah, that would definitely be a pretty good play, especially like you said, if you're a pretty good gamer and you're confident that you can get in that top 2K, that'd be pretty sweet. It's an easy return, most likely.
Yeah, if there are any pro gamers out there who want to let me buy them some sewer passes and then we can split the profits, you just let me know, okay? So that is really everything on the Yuga front. Like I said, we have there's not a ton of news from a lot of these other NFT projects. We did find out that VFriends is going to be launching a burn mechanism with their V2 VFriends, their season 2, as well as the book games NFTs. Don't know a ton about that just yet, but there is going to be a burn mechanism to reduce the supply. We've seen, the darling of the NFT market so far this year, checks, continuing to move up and down. They launched their burn last Sunday. It's kind of a burn where you can, trade it in for a different looking check, and some of those are going for higher than others. Like the solid color ones are going for more than just kind of the random colored ones. So still a lot going on with checks. They're maintaining attention, seeing fluctuation in floor prices, up from 2.8 ETH at one point. Now with the two different types, there's like 0.8 ETH floor on one of them and like 1.2 on the other. So a lot going on with checks. Still a little complicated for me. And then the other big meta going on right now is the NFTs on Bitcoin, the ordinals. These are just like, someone sold a brick, a picture of a brick for 0.75 BTC yesterday. Not 0.75 ETH, 0.75 BTC. We also saw a trade for a ordinal punk in exchange for a Fidenza, which, if you aren't aware, Fidenzas are like one of the top tier of generative art that's out there. We have stuff like autoglyphs, eternal pumps, ringers. Fidenza is right up there. About a month and a half ago, we saw a trade where someone flipped a Fidenza in exchange for a Mutant Hound Mega Collar. To put that in perspective, the person who got rid of the Fidenza is now down about 50 to 60%, maybe more, on that trade. So I think that, to me, this marks a local top. I am not a fan of the BTC NFTs. That's not what Bitcoin was designed for. I'm seeing a lot of people who are pumping these on Twitter are some of the most disingenuous people in this market who have pumped other scams in the past. Don't like to talk about the fact that they have pumped those other scams. So I am staying as far away from Bitcoin NFTs as possible. I do not care. And, congratulations to the people who are doing this the right way and making some gains. If you are using your following as exit liquidity, you're a scumbag, and I want to have nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the rats are out to eat right now. Again, I'm not calling anyone a rat, but just the act of a lot of what's going on, it just seems like there's terrible, terrible decisions being made. And that, like you said, not signifies, but it definitely feels like a top when you see some of these like desperation moves starting to happen. Like NFTs on Bitcoin, who would have had this in their bear market bingo card? You know what I mean? Like, it's the last thing I was going to think. Like, people actually pushing at the end of a bear market, but people are collecting, and great artwork like Fidenza will hold value long-term overs. Yep, I completely agree.
I think you can take out some and put in most, like the vast majority of. I can see a world where Fidenzas are like they're already more expensive than CryptoPunks because there's such a small supply of them. But I could see them being one of the most sought after art projects, in NFT history as we move on. Like let's look 5, 10 years down the road. Everyone is so short sighted in the NFT market. They're so inexperienced. There is this like overwhelming amount of FOMO and greed right now. In my opinion, the liquidity we've seen from the Blur airdrop is a blessing and is a huge opportunity for those people who can resist the FOMO and who are using this as an opportunity to exit some of their weaker positions. Like plain and simple. I do not think that, a lot of what we're seeing right now is going to stick long term. I think most of them are going to go way, way down. And the people who can realize that, who can shift gears, who can zig when others are zagging. Let me throw a few more cliches in here, but those are going to be the ones who are going to win big time when the market, because the market is going to go down. Like I firmly believe that a lot of NFT floors are going to take a big hit. We saw it last year. I was, in like June, right after Three Arrows Capital, right after 3AC happened and Celsius was going down and Voyager, NFT floors tanked. You were able to get crypto. I bought a CryptoPunk last year. I'm going to pat myself on the back here for a pretty damn good price. So I was able to get a piece that, and I'm not selling that anytime soon. I want to hold on to that for years to come. But you're going to have the opportunity in the coming months. Maybe it's around the same time, summer again this year. It may go, everyone goes away in the summertime. They're doing other things besides trading stocks, trading crypto. Maybe we see another, people get flushed out. You're going to have opportunities to make some great bets when the market takes a hit. And those people who can generate liquidity and have dry powder on the side now are going to be set up to profit so damn much, because I don't think NFTs are going away, but I think most of what we're seeing in the market is.
Yeah, it's the liquidity that we are seeing from Blur and all these airdrops or claims. It's going to fade, especially right now.
Yeah.
It's going to everything is going to move to the sidelines. It's not going to be on chain. Everyone's going to either have it in their wallet or it's going to be in their bank. But you don't want to be being caught with something that you're buying at the local top, and then we still have tons of ways to go to the downside. Again, I think all financial markets, NFTs are no exception, especially with how closely tied they are to crypto. I think that anyone who has cash on hand and, taking this Blur as an opportunity to, just keep some on the side, they're going to be primed for whatever NFT bull run comes next, or whenever there's a great opportunity to buy some of these amazing projects. Like you said, how you bought a CryptoPunk last year at the right time, but you need to have that cash on the side. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting there with pretty much worthless assets, and worthless in terms of price, not in terms of value that the asset brings itself.
Yeah, I was able to fade, get out of some of the FOMO, sell some, Bored Apes and Kodas and Yuga assets at a pretty good price, and that allowed me the opportunity to, number one, take money off the table last year, and take care of my family and everything, but also invest in a CryptoPunk, which I believe has a lot of long-term potential. We saw CryptoPunks go as high as a $500,000 floor. Let me tell you, I paid nowhere close to that amount, but I do believe that they have the potential to go back to that place, and I will absolutely sell that if it does reach that number again.
I don't know, $500,000 CryptoPunk. That seems pretty cheap to me, JWeb. I think you got to start making it sound like that's a pretty good price for a CryptoPunk. They're going to 20 million one day. That's how we're gonna get rid of yours.
Yeah, pretty cheap, pretty cheap. On the CryptoPunk front, I did see Cosimo de Medici, whoever that person is, the Anon person with that huge art collection. They gave away a zombie CryptoPunk to I forget what museum. I want to say it's a museum somewhere over in Europe that is starting to acquire digital assets, but they gave away a zombie CryptoPunk to them. Yuga Labs has given away a few of the CryptoPunks in their holdings to some modern museums in an I don't know if it's actually Snoop Ace. I know everyone thinks that. I'm not sold, but Yuga Labs is making a concerted effort, because in the deal where they acquired CryptoPunks and Meebits from Larva Labs, they acquired a large number of CryptoPunks. And so far, they haven't sold any of them to my knowledge. They've been giving them away. They gave one away to a museum or an art gallery down in Miami. They gave away another one this last week. I think they're just trying to, and they brought on, someone to manage CryptoPunks for Yuga, and it's not to like provide utility. It is to continue to spread the word about CryptoPunks and digital art. And I think they're doing an awesome job with that so far. And my bags personally love it. So that's where I stand with all of that.
I can't wait to see these museums just dump on the market during the bull run. They're just going to get rid of
Not
everything.
going to do it. They're not going to. No, they're not. They're
Later.
not going to do it.
They're going to do it at the
If
top.
I see if that zombie punk, because like a zombie with a beanie, like it was a pretty cool crypto punk. If I see that one for sale, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be like, what are you guys doing?
Watch you guys.
But that's kind of my take on the market right now. You know, there are flips to be had, I guess, but do not be the last person holding that hot potato, because you know a lot of these things. There was one going on the other day. It was a mint called When Sandwich, and it's a pixel art project. It's by the artist who created the Bored Ape art. But to me, I mean, come on, what are we doing here?
Sandwich.
We're trading pixelated sandwiches. Let's maybe be smarter here and realize that we are in a what could be a financial crisis soon, and not be stupid with our money. Please, people, not financial advice, but it kind of is.
Yeah, once Subway starts minting some, meatball marinara NFT, then maybe I'll get into the sandwich game. But for right now, stay on the sidelines. Keep my $5.
What if you could that'd be cool if you could mint like the spicy Italian, and like once a month you can go in and show your little sandwich NFT and you get a free sandwich.
This is what I'm saying, JWeb. We got to keep this on the down low so no one comes up with these ideas. With our own NFT sandwich shop.
You know, Jersey Mike's might be a better fit. They got Danny DeVito doing commercials, so they're a little bit, more forward thinking. Maybe we can get them to get in on our sandwich Ponzi here.
I'm in it. Let's do it.
All right. That is going to wrap it up for today's show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Let's see. Do you have new thoughts on the memes by 6529? Well, Tom, I think the art is great. I own one meme card. It was the Dirty Robot one, and I bought it at the absolute top. And so I've seen that come down. I would say at this point, with how big of a supply there is, the fact they're going to keep increasing the supply, I think it's a really cool opportunity to buy pieces from artists who may be out of your price range. Like me personally, I would like to get the Grant Yoon piece because his one-of-one art, way out of my price range. Let me see where that's trading right now. I also enjoy Kath Samard. She has a great piece in there. Drifter from Drifter Shoots. He has a great piece. Tyrone is another guy I know. He's a really great artist. He has a piece in there. So I'm viewing the memes by 6529 right now as an opportunity to own assets from artists that you really like. Could it run up again? I'm not really sure. We have artists like Ruben Wu, Tommy Wilson, who's been on this show before, Alien Queen, OSF, Rick Ustenbrock, who's been on our show. So some really great artists out there are part of the collection, but I just don't know what the future holds from a floor price standpoint. Just due to the fact that there is still 3 cards a week coming out. I don't know when they're going to slow the supply. I doubt there's going to be like a burn mechanism to decrease the supply. Although, you know what, it's 6529. He's far smarter than me. That could happen someday. But I would say if you're going to get into the memes, get into the pieces that you like by the artists that you appreciate, and buy because you like the art. And if the price goes up in the future, cool. But I wouldn't get into it with the expectation that it's going back, because at one point the whole set was going for like 130 ETH. It was crazy. I wouldn't get into it expecting to see astronomical returns like that again. So that is my take. Let's see. We got Potbelly better than Jersey Mike's. That's fair. I do like Firehouse, so I would take Firehouse over Jersey Mike's. You could always do like a pixelated like fire truck, like carrying a sub sandwich. That could be an interesting take. See, you're right, Kevin. We shouldn't be talking about these. Are billion-dollar ideas that we're just giving away for free on this show.
I know.
So that is going to wrap it up. Tom, thank you once again for coming and watching today and asking the question. We do this show NFT focused Tuesday, Friday. Love to have you back. Chop it up, answer any questions. Another comment from Ace here. Web2 company comes into Web3 with their rewards program. Well, we've already, Starbucks is doing it with Starbucks Odyssey. I know that Nike is building out a marketplace. I'm not part of the beta quite yet. I hope to be soon. But I definitely think that we're going to see more and more big Web2 brands come in and build out their reward programs. I think a lot of people are waiting to see what Starbucks does and how successful that is before really diving in headfirst. So that's just my take on it. Kevin, any final thoughts before we head out?
Nothing too crazy. I just want to bring up, if you're a Linkin Park fan, go watch the Lost music video. Pretty sweet. It's apparently directed by an NFT artist, people pleaser. So, I mean, it's an unreleased song from Meteora. So definitely a pretty good song. Good to hear Chester Bennington again. But other than that, no, NFT market. I'm excited to see what happens in the next week, see how it plays over the weekend, and can't wait to see everyone for shows next week.
All right, we'll be back next Monday for the crypto show, Tuesday for the NFT show, Thursday for the crypto show, Friday for the NFT show. I'm going to be out snowboarding, so we're going to have to figure out the schedule there, but we will make it work. Once again, as Ace says right here, please, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. We put out content on a very regular basis. We work hard on it. We're not the best in the business, but we're getting better every time. So share this far and wide with everyone that is interested in crypto and NFTs. We want to try to help bring in as many people in a positive way as we can. So for Kevin, for the team at FLOLiO, I am Jeremy. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
Take care, everyone.